say Crawford. If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford. What Canelo has is size, and as a result, physical strength and punching power.
And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
They both hit hard. Because and you can see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah, but why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith break down Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. Stephen A. predicts Crawford wins by decision but stresses caution, recalling Gervonta Davis's warning that Crawford could get in trouble if he chooses to engage too much. With Canelo's natural size and power advantage, Stephen A. believes Crawford must rely on defense, speed, and ring IQ rather than exchanges. The analysts highlight strategy over strength as the deciding factor.
Greatness. And a neck as wide as Broadway, for crying out loud.
Right.
The thing that I don't like about Canelo is that it's like almost every shot has to be a power shot.
It's a power shot, yes.
And that's not beating Crawford. I will confess, I think Gervonta Davis's trainer, Cal, I think he said this. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble, and I'm not sure it was him, but I think it was him. He said Crawford could find himself in trouble if he decides to engage with Canelo, because Canelo is the naturally bigger, strong fighter. And I don't care that Crawford's gotten bigger, and I don't care that Crawford's going to go in there just as big as Canelo. Canelo is accustomed to fighting at the weight.
Meanwhile, Max Kellerman notes that Terence Crawford's overall skill set appears sharper, giving him a technical edge. He highlights Canelo Alvarez's durable chin and naturally larger frame, with a bigger skeleton that offers strength in exchanges. Yet, in recent performances, Canelo hasn't looked as dominant or crisp as in the past, showing slight decline. This contrast of Crawford's skill against Canelo's size and resilience frames the fight as a battle of timing versus durability.
Great chin, a great chin. But in terms of if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford.
Okay.
But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned Canelo's power, so who I would assume Canelo has the
You'd have to think, unless Crawford was on a knockout streak until he moved up to junior middleweight and then failed to stop Madrimov.
Antonio Tarver, a respected boxing analyst and former champion, has openly expressed his support for Terence Crawford, while at the same time acknowledging the massive challenge this bout presents. According to Tarver, Crawford has consistently proven himself across weight divisions, but this fight is on another level entirely. He stresses that it is not only Crawford's toughest test, but also a fight that Canelo Alvarez has never truly faced before.
Alvarez take, I'm Bud County all the way, but this is going to be the toughest fight, the best fighter Bud has ever been in the ring with. And arguably, this could be the best fighter Canelo has ever been in the ring with. We'll find out which one is which on September 13th.
Antonio, I appreciate your time. Safe travels back home.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio.
Timothy Bradley Jr., who has been known for his sharp boxing IQ, believes the opening round of Canelo versus Crawford will be a measured affair. He anticipates that both fighters will avoid unnecessary risks early on, instead using the round to analyze movement, timing, and openings. According to Bradley, Crawford is especially patient when starting big fights, as he likes to see what his opponent offers before setting traps. Canelo, on the other hand, has also shown a tendency to feel out the distance in the first round, making adjustments as the fight progresses. Bradley notes that this chess-like approach means the first round will not be fireworks, but but a tactical exchange of information.
Versa, Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. You know, in the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, you know, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. You know, it takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although I would say he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher. You know, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. You know, and the indication of that is when, if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. You know, he usually takes off, just feels the power, you know, cruises, you know, see what these guys know, couple of feints, level changes, you know, just gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round is going to be a real, like, calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? And let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, you know, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next.
Amir Khan, who has shared the ring with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, provides a unique perspective on this matchup. Khan stresses that Crawford has already proven himself as an all-time great within his natural divisions, particularly at welterweight. He warns that boxing has weight divisions for a reason, as moving up against naturally bigger fighters carries significant risks. Khan believes there was no real need for Crawford to take on this pressure of facing Canelo, since his legacy as a great fighter is already established. Despite this, Khan acknowledges the ambition behind Crawford's decision. He sees it as a bold attempt to silence doubters and to achieve what few boxers in history have done: defy the limitations of weight classes. But Khan is clear. While Crawford is elite, stepping up against someone as powerful as Canelo is a dangerous gamble, one that could either elevate his status forever or put his career at risk.
And we did all the build-up. They were nothing but respectful.
Yeah.
I just feel that, you know, in boxing, weight divisions are made there they make them for a purpose. And I highly respect and say pound for pound, the best fighter is Crawford by far, and beats anyone. But when you start putting weight on and you go up a weight and you fight these guys like Canelo, even though Canelo might be now getting a little bit older and it might be slowing down a little bit, but he's still going to be very dangerous. That punch power, you're still going to get tagged. You're still going to get hit. You're going to have to spar heavier guys to get ready for that anyway. So you're going to be taking a lot of wear and tear anyway. You're going to have to adding a few pounds on. Does he need to put that pressure on himself? He's done what no one's ever done before. 2-time undisputed world champion. So why not just enjoy? But obviously you want to go for that next challenge. Now for him, he wants to go for that Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. Yeah. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is himself. So I can't really say to him that do this or do that. So really,
he believes in his skills. He feels
he believes in his skill. Yeah. We can't answer for him. Yeah. We let him go and do it. You know what I'm saying? And we all might be wrong. Yeah. He might be even stronger than Canelo. He might pack the weight on well, that he might do really well in there. So look, regardless,
you fought them both. Like what are the differences between them? Obviously, it's weight.
Canelo's strong and he's easily hit. Very easily hit, very easily. Yeah. Compared to when I fought against Crawford, I couldn't even hit clean. Yeah. So really, that's the difference. And they both hit hard. Yeah. Because and you could see the strength. You know, when I was fighting against Crawford, I didn't think Crawford was that strong, but when he kind of moved me around a little bit, he is very strong as well. So look, yeah. But why does he need to give that much away? He's pound for pound #1 in the world. Why does he have to go up and fight Canelo?
Promoter Tom Loeffler looks at the event from a business and spectacle perspective. He explains that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford are two of the biggest names in boxing, each carrying enormous fan bases that stretch across different demographics and nations. Loeffler argues that very few fights in the modern era can compare to this one in terms of magnitude. The matchup is not only a clash of skills, but also a collision of two empires. Canelo's established reign as the face of boxing and Crawford's rise as a pound-for-pound king. Loeffler believes the hype is justified because it is rare to see two fighters of this caliber agreeing to meet, especially when weight differences and legacy stakes are involved.
High-profile show. It's huge. It doesn't get any bigger than that. And you know, you got to give credit to both guys. They're both very confident. They both have very passionate fan bases. You know, Callum, you know, having fought in Dublin, packed the arena out there, the 3 Arena, having fought at Madison Square Garden 3 times, fought in Boston, and then Fernando Jr., you know, from one of the biggest boxing named families, you know, in the history of boxing. He's going to bring out a huge fan base. So it's a really exciting addition to, you know, such a big show that like I said, doesn't get any bigger than that for sure.
I agree. You know, I think that you, along with me, have seen some of these criticisms of the undercard. But really, when you look at it, I mean, we both know Callum Walsh so well. The personality and the authenticity that he brings to this sport is just so sincere. He's so real. You know, being from Ireland, coming overseas to train and dedicate his life to this craft, and his personality is so magnetic that it obviously brought someone like Dana White to be a huge supporter of him.
Trainer Dave Coldwell highlights Crawford's unique style, emphasizing his ability to switch stances seamlessly and use his footwork to control distance. According to Coldwell, Crawford's leg movement is one of his most underrated tools, allowing him to create angles, frustrate opponents, and dictate the rhythm of fights. Against a powerful pressure fighter like Canelo, Coldwell believes these attributes could be the key to success. He explains that if Crawford can maintain mobility and avoid being trapped against the ropes, he has the tools to outmaneuver Canelo and rack up points.
From when the fight got made, I've always fancied Crawford. I just think it's different. I think there's something about him. I think if you add what Crawford's good at, his brain, he can switch. He's very good as a southpaw. His judgment of distance is fantastic. His punch picking is fantastic. He's got good legs. When you add what, and he can pop. I mean, listen, I'm not saying he's got the power to hurt Canelo, but he might have the power to surprise Canelo a little bit and just sting him and just. But when you look at what Crawford does well, and then I look at this version of Canelo, as Canelo's got on, his punch rate's gone down. His feet have never been the fastest, but he's always had good placement of feet. His feet aren't the fastest. And he loads up. He loads up. And he don't really like boxing at a pace. So I kind of look at that and I think Crawford can manage his way through the fight to win it on points. I think he can manage moments, tough moments. When Canelo detonates a big shot on him, he's going to know about it because Crawford's been hurt before. And Crawford gets hit. He does get hit. That's why he's exciting. But he does get hit. So that means that Canelo could land on him. I just think that Canelo will land a bomb and Crawford knows enough to tie up, to get off at an angle, to get that distance.
Jeff Mayweather focuses on the issue of weight and natural size, which he sees as one of the most critical factors in this fight. He points out that Canelo has long been dominant at super middleweight, a division that naturally suits his frame. Terence Crawford, by contrast, is moving up to fight at a weight that is not truly his own, raising concerns about how the added pounds might affect his speed, stamina, and durability. Mayweather stresses that Canelo's comfort at this weight gives him an inherent advantage, as he will not be making drastic adjustments to his body.
Big factor, and I mean, this is a weight class that Canelo is already, owned. He owns his weight class. And so, I mean, and he even went up higher. So, I mean, he's already proven what he can do and what he can take at those other weight classes. So, I mean, I don't know, but if anyone can do it, it probably would be Terence Crawford. I mean, this guy seems like he's amazing. I mean, he's, I'm a big fan of Terence Crawford, but I'm a big fan of Canelo as well. So I mean, it's one of those situations where somebody has to lose. So I don't know who's gonna lose, but I think that it's going to be a great fight. I think it's going to be a great fight.
A Ring magazine analyst offers insight into Canelo's recent performances, noting that while Alvarez has continued to train diligently and prepare with intensity, one noticeable weakness has emerged. In his last few fights, Canelo has struggled to effectively cut off the ring. This decline has allowed some opponents to move freely and avoid his power shots. Against someone like Crawford, whose movement and angles are central to his strategy, this flaw could prove costly. The analyst believes Canelo must rediscover his ability to trap opponents and limit their escape routes.
I should have any position to critique and criticize Canelo. But one of the things that he's gotten in trouble with in the last couple of fights, not being able to cut off the ring. You know, you go to the William Skull fight and you watched him chase William Skull around and around and around that ring. And yes, William Skull was running from him. That was pretty clear to see. He was on his bike utilizing his jab, but you didn't see Canelo cut him off. You didn't see him move laterally to be able to stop a lot of that running or stop a lot of that circling around the ropes, which is his responsibility if he's going to take the front foot and look to establish himself offensively. And when I watch Canelo here, he's gotten away with this pretty much his entire career, but I watch him cross step a lot. And you see it right there where he goes from circling, he rolls under the right hand, and instead of moving laterally, replacing his back foot with his front foot, he L steps and then crosses over, which instead of just moving laterally and shifting, like I said, shuffling to his right off of the L step, off of the reset, which would allow him to be ready to go and ready to fight again, it takes him that extra beat to get back into fight stance.
Former champion David Haye provides an interesting shift in perspective. Initially, Haye believed Canelo's size and power would be too much for Crawford, making it nearly impossible for the smaller man to win. However, after observing Crawford's training and witnessing his relentless work ethic and technical sharpness, Haye admits he has changed his mind. He confesses he couldn't figure it out at first, but now sees Crawford as having a real chance of victory.
When that's beating Canelo, I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford, I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. He's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good big and beats a good little one, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size. So I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it. They're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2. And I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think once again Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet. Mixing it up, it's like it's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight, that anyone who's interested in boxing and want to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. That makes sense because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Jeff Horn, a former world champion, issues a warning to Canelo Alvarez. He argues that while size and strength are important, they do not automatically guarantee victory. Horn believes Crawford's elite defensive skills will allow him to minimize damage and neutralize Canelo's power. According to Horn, Crawford has an uncanny ability to anticipate punches, roll with shots, and avoid being caught flush. This means that Canelo's natural size advantage may not matter as much if he cannot land cleanly. Horn stresses that Crawford's defensive discipline could be the deciding factor, enabling him to frustrate Canelo, limit exchanges, and then counter with precision. Finally, one veteran fighter who has been studying Terence Crawford closely over the years sums up his perspective with conviction. He explains that after analyzing Crawford's growth, preparation, and performances, he simply cannot bet against him. He emphasizes Crawford's mental toughness, consistency, and ability to rise to the occasion, qualities that make him stand apart even when faced with daunting challenges. For this fighter, Crawford has already proven that he belongs among the sport's greatest, and this bout against Canelo is just another chance to showcase his excellence.
Me analyzing and watching Crawford over all these years, I just cannot bet against dude, bruh.
No, you can't.
I'm going to roll with Crawford, and shout out to Nebraska, and that's just what it is.
I'm so glad you here, big dog.
I'm going to go ahead and put my bread down on Crawford, and I'm going to live with the results.
You were a DB, right?
I played wide receiver, kick return, punt return.
Oh, I thought. Oh, why did I think you was a DB?
I don't know.
Even being a wide receiver, you fit the bill of a Terence Crawford. If Terence was a football player, he more than likely would be a DB or a wide receiver.
Yeah.
How much weight did you put on leaving high school going into college?